As the weather starts to warm up, it's that time of the year again to bust open your doors and frolic under the sun. But before you do, you may want to organize your home base first. And if you want to get a head start on the hectic seasons of spring and summer, you may begin spring cleaning as early as now. The biggest part of spring cleaning is getting rid of clutter. Back in 2013, Marie Kondo, or Marie Kondo as how she likes her name pronounced, has a book about decluttering titled The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, which surged into popularity and became a #1 New York Times bestseller. Now she has a Netflix show called Tidying Up, and her trademark KonMari method of decluttering achieved global reach, and her book now became an international bestseller too. However, not everyone is comfortable with her method, which in all honesty can get pretty extreme. In her book with 103 pages, the word throw and some variations of it appeared 39 times, while the word donate was only used 6 times. With many people, particularly in the third world countries, not having enough, throwing instead of donating doesn't exactly sound like expressing gratitude. Some aspects of the KonMari method are actually effective, and this video is by no means a hate video against Marie Kondo, which is an amazing, sweet, and lovely person overall. It's just a matter of compatibility with your belief system, and those who don't really need an extreme way of doing spring cleaning and simply want a more balanced approach may find actual peace and joy in applying Feng Shui instead. In Feng Shui, the general approach is to ensure that all natural elements are working harmoniously. That means everything should be in a state of balance. While there really isn't a step-by-step method on how to deal with clutter in Feng Shui like in the KonMari method, clutter is also problematic in Feng Shui, and it should be avoided because it blocks good qi or energy from flowing easily in our homes and prevents us from fully welcoming abundance in our lives. To help you decide which method works best for you, this video will show a side-by-side comparison of Feng Shui and Marie Kondo's KonMari method in decluttering our homes. Number 1. The right sequence of decluttering. In the KonMari method, there is the best sequence of tidying up things, which is the following: clothes first, followed by books, then papers, then knickknacks or miscellaneous items, and finally items with sentimental value. She states that following this order will train you to discern better on which items to keep and which ones to discard, and starting with something easier like clothes versus sentimental items like old letters for instance will help you progress faster. Marie Kondo also stresses that organizing little by little or even per room is not effective because it will leave you feeling less accomplished compared to tackling items per category in your home all at once. In Feng Shui, on the other hand, though there isn't an exact rule to declutter per room, there is an unspoken tendency to do so one room or location at a time, since you're not merely addressing clutter in a certain space, you're also actually finding cures and optimal position of objects in a certain room for a certain period. Depending on factors such as the direction of flying stars in a year as well as your Kuwa number and even your own intuition, you may prioritize whichever room or zone or bagua is most dangerous or problematic and actually deal with that first. For some people, this feels more encouraging because they not only immediately see but also directly experience the effect of a tidy and cured room, and it's just a matter of being disciplined enough in maintaining that state as they proceed in tidying up and curing the next room or bagua. Number 2. The schedule for tidying up. Though Marie Kondo preaches that tidying is a special event, don't do it every day, in page 20 of her book, she mentioned that there are 2 types of tidying. One is the daily tidying, which is simply putting things back in their place after use, and the second one is what she calls as special event tidying, which she dubs as a once-in-a-lifetime task of tidying up and putting your home in order. She states that once you're fully done in decluttering per category all at once, either once in your lifetime or once in a blue moon, you'll finally achieve the spick-and-span lifestyle that you want. Having this peaceful, orderly lifestyle is the #goal, and once you achieve it, the KonMari method ensures that you won't suffer from struggling daily in trying to maintain order in your home. Feng Shui, on the other hand, doesn't approach decluttering as a once-in-a-lifetime task. Aside from having a proper one-on-one consultation with the Feng Shui master being encouraged before every special occasion such as lunar year, moving to a new home, and having a wedding, applying Feng Shui should be done actively, at least once a year, especially since the flying stars fly in different directions every year and have ever-changing impact not only in our homes but also in our lives. Having a spick and span, highly organized home isn't the main goal of Feng Shui. It's just a means to another end, and that end is having a #blessed life filled with abundance. Speaking of abundance, number 3, the philosophy in Decluttering. In page 90 of her book, Marie Kondo shared how she realized that letting go is more important than adding. For natural hoarders who want to switch into a minimalist lifestyle, her approach may be more appealing. The KonMari method encourages people to be not attached and let go of things that don't bring joy and purpose anymore in their lives and only stick to a few items that do. In page 50, she mentioned that she currently keeps only 30 volumes of books, for example, which is her personal ideal number but not necessarily everyone else's. This caused a major uproar among book lovers and has even become a meme on its own. Before anyone raises more pitchforks, Marie Kondo clarified in an interview with IndieWire that she doesn't encourage people to get rid of their books per se. She simply wants them to look within and discover what you value the most. If it's just information from the book, then it's best to extract that information as soon as possible and discard the book, especially in Japan where it's usually humid, books don't store, and age well. But if books themselves spark joy, especially among collectors, and they're able to store them properly, then by all means keep them. In Feng Shui, decluttering isn't really a part of it because for those people who regularly practice Feng Shui, clutter shouldn't even exist. To quote Howard Choi, an international Feng Shui master and lecturer, decluttering is like putting on a clean set of clothes, but does it really change a person? This opened up a discussion on addressing clutter as a possible hoarding issue and use a different kind of therapy instead of both Feng Shui and KonMari method to address any underlying issue that causes excessive hoarding. Though part of Feng Shui is prevention and also neutralizing and giving cures to any inauspicious stars and positions, again the main goal of Feng Shui is balance and harmony, clearing any stagnant energy, and optimizing good luck to allow abundance to freely flow in. Number 4. Decluttering with the family. There's actually a lesser known but more controversial section of Marie Kondo's book, which is at page 28, that says don't let your family see. Here, she states to not let your family see what items you're throwing out while decluttering to avoid feeling guilty yourself and offending them. Though thankfully Marie Kondo now stresses on dealing with your own items only after getting strained relations with her family from throwing out items that didn't belong to her but belonged to some of her family members, as she admitted in her book, sometimes we're not the best judge of what's actually valuable and another member of the family can actually help. Feng Shui, on the other hand, can also be used to foster family harmony, and Feng Shui techniques can even be applied together as a family. Since it doesn't require to throw away stuff and even encourages fixing things that still can be fixed, you and your family are free to keep what each of you find valuable and encourages openness instead of being secretive about throwing out things. You never know, what you personally find meaningless now may actually be worth 1,000,000 times more once that family member dies, such as a painting or a drawing back in childhood days, especially if that family member also becomes a distinct figure or celebrity. As the saying goes, one man's junk is another man's treasure. If you are wondering how much your ordinary clutter is worth, websites such as eBay or Amazon can help. Number 5. Approach to tidying up. While Marie Kondo's method of tidying up is more focused on a micro level, such as how clothes should be folded and how other items should be stored as shown in her Netflix videos, Feng Shui has a more macro approach, always keeping good balance and energy flow in mind. If you like or find both ways effective and have trouble choosing which one to use, you can actually use both this way. Use Feng Shui as a general guideline on how to position certain items in your home, such as your bed and what colors or decor elements to use at a certain direction and period. Then use KonMari method in sorting items in their respective containers. When it comes to paper though, Marie Kondo insists that you keep all papers in a single spot instead of different parts of your home, and if possible, discard all of them and go paperless. But in Feng Shui, as long as the papers are organized in a way that makes sense to you and no bills are in sight at your wealth corner, then you're all good. If there's annoyance or any overwhelming feeling caused by some paper clutter, then it means there's actually an imbalance on the wood element, which can be neutralized by adding a metal element such as a metal file cabinet for storing highly important documents, and also a paper shredder for transforming other papers into a compost pile or fertilizer instead of merely throwing them away. Number 6. Finding the best value. The most popular concept in the KonMari method is finding that spark of joy in each item. If you find it, then good for you and that item, and it means you can keep it. If not, then you can dispose it. But there are those who question this method, especially for tools that don't necessarily bring joy but are highly useful, such as a screwdriver or toilet brush. Before you discard an item that doesn't spark joy, the KonMari method also requires you to say thank you to that item for serving whatever its purpose was in the past. When it comes to Feng Shui, while it doesn't require you to ask if an item sparks joy, it asks for common sense. Some people even equate Feng Shui with common sense since most of the teachings there have an inherent logical basis. An example would be the Feng Shui advice of not sitting with the back facing a door. Of course, it makes sense to do this since it's better to see who comes through the door and avoid any nasty surprises. There's nothing in Feng Shui that requires you to thank an object, but in applying Feng Shui, you don't only see a certain area as good but also feel it. And when you and other people feel good in an area, it promotes harmonious relations that make you feel thankful to those people as well, especially the actual person or giver of the items that you might say thank you at if you're following the KonMari method. Once you thank the person instead of the object itself, you'll experience a shift in perspective. And finally, number 7, discovering the real purpose of tidying up and decluttering. While the KonMari method states that when you put your house in order, you put your affairs and your past in order too, Feng Shui on the other hand is opening doors to get ready for what the future will bring. Both methods never directly address the root cause of clutter, which may be consumerism and can be addressed by another method, which is minimalism. The KonMari method is simply a way to manage your existing clutter and at the same time get rid of them, while Feng Shui actually assumes that you don't have any issue about clutter anymore and you're both physically and psychologically ready to optimize the chi or energy flowing through your home and life. Though both methods can be inspiring, especially during spring cleaning, like any workout, love, or financial advice, the takeaway of this video is simply do what personally works for you. And whatever works for you, let us know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hope it earns a thumbs up, and if you're new in this channel and haven't subscribed yet, kindly consider doing so. We upload a video every week or so, and if you don't want to miss an upload, you may also click that notification bell icon. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.